This is literally how I came in because it is so freaking windy outside. Oh my goodness gracious. Good morning, happy Monday to all of you. I am still not my best of my best. Luckily today, or this week in general, it is all about the DRAs. I'm gonna be out half a day on Wednesday. I have to get DRAs done this week. So I'm going to be gung-ho in DRAs, which is probably okay. I get really like breathe heavy. It is like so freaking windy. I was driving on the way here. I'm sorry, I'm like scatterbrained this morning, but I was driving on the way here and I look off to my left and a whole freaking like light, one of those light poles, the ones for either just an electricity pole, was like halfway like blown over because the wind is so bad outside. So today's going to be an indoor recess kind of day. I'm already feeling it. So yes, I'm gonna go ahead and get some of my things unpacked because I did bring a ton of stuff in that big old bag, and I'm gonna hopefully show you guys a little bit later what it is that I brought. Okay, so this morning I really quick want to show you guys what it is that I brought. So I got a ton of new books. That's a lie. They're not new, but they're coming back to the classroom. So some of them, I think I got like 2 or 3 books from Books A Million because they were like on the sale rack for like $2, which was really, really nice. So I have other books that I'm bringing back to the classroom from my son's room that were like, he was hoarding the books and he was not sending them back. So here's the ones that I brought back. This one is a newer one. Swallowed the Key, The Wish, El Defo. So I brought like a ton of books back. This is a new one that I did get, 910, which I'm really excited about. I think I'm gonna save this one as a personal read. I had a little girl who really wanted to read this one in class, so I made sure I got it for her so that she could have it. So that one's gonna be a new one. Nerds, Took. Then I have Wings of Fire, just a ton of books. This is our read aloud. Ton of books that I'm gonna put right back into my library. You guys asked about my husband and what it was that he got me. He got me the Reading Strategies book, which I'm really excited about. If you have not heard of Jennifer Saravallo, definitely check her out and the Reading Strategies book because this book is phenomenal for teaching any type of skills. So I will show you guys a little bit of it probably later on so that you can get a better idea of what this book like is all about. Today what we are doing is having the first day of school all over again, because we are finding out that a lot of our kids are not doing some of the expectations that are required of them. So you know what, we're gonna rewind and go right back to the first day of school where we sit them down and we do a what does it look like, what does this sound like, what does it feel like anchor chart for pretty much everything. So they're gonna come in this morning. Actually, they're not gonna come in. They're gonna line up outside of my door. I'm gonna walk them in, sit them down at the carpet, and then we're gonna go over this anchor chart. This anchor chart right here is walking in. We're gonna go over all of the steps for when you're walking in. We have our morning message up. It says, good morning learners, welcome to room 25. My hope is that this will be a place where we will have fun. We will learn and have fun. For our discussion, I want you to tell me what is the rule that we should have to achieve this. Let's make today fantastic. Warmly, Mrs. S. So yes. All right, so the bell's ringing. I'm gonna stand outside with my coffee and get those kids lined up. Okay, so it is now my second break for today. I am getting like hot flashes every once in a while, so let's just hope that I am a little bit coherent. Apparently I'm not when I'm writing things because I've screwed up a few times. So, c'est la vie. I had a comment on my video, I think it was yesterday, or yesterday's video, so my Sunday's video, that I really wanted to address in this video. So someone commented, about what do I do with student behavior when I am in my small group time. So when kids are just misbehaving, what am I doing when they're out there by themselves? I set my expectations really hard when they first come in at the very beginning of the school year, and I don't automatically start pulling groups the very first day or even the first week or 2 weeks. I set the expectations out there first, and I am constantly just modeling. We're talking about it, and we're coming back and we're like revisiting it as many times as needed before they kind of have it down. And then once that starts to happen, then I start building in one group at a time. So I'll do one group maybe for the first few days. If that works out really well, then I'll pull a couple of other groups. Now, right now, the kids are going kind of in between classes. Today, what we have done, because a little bit of those expectations have started to fall through the cracks, we are doing a whole back to first day of school day where we're setting those expectations all over again. And it is literally them just going out, practicing, doing things. We're coming back. What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? Like nonstop today. As we're going through and doing this, they kind of know what is already, I don't know who that is. Okay, so they kind of already know what it is to be expected of them when they're out and about. Now, I do have little things that I will do when I do see little behaviors that are kind of going on within the classroom that I need to address while I'm teaching small group. One of them is just eye contact. I will sit there and I will stare them down like it's nobody's business. And as soon as I see them, I will tell them either no or stop. And as soon as they see that, they have a tendency to just kind of get up and move and get right back to work. So that's one way of doing it. Some other things that I have done is I've done the snap, like literally while I've been teaching, I will do the snap, catches their attention, makes them aware of, oh, Mrs. Spackman knows that I'm doing this and I need to move my body. So that was another strategy that I do. Also, when I am planning my small groups, I will have times where I will say, I want you guys to read this next passage, you know, with the person next to you, just whisper read it together. And while they're doing that, I will just quickly go do a little roundabout in my room, just to make sure that everybody is on task and doing what is expected and they're supposed to be doing. So that will kind of keep them on task as well. If there is full-blown just a really bad behavior that I have to deal with and I have to take them out or I have to call the office, then I will just have somebody else kind of, you know, they'll just kind of finish up and do the last little assignment by themselves or continue reading it, or I'll just have them go back out and independent read and just end group there. So it depends on the types of behaviors. Typically with either just the eye, the snaps, or me just simply giving them the hand signals, they will stop. In those cases where I have students who are, it's truly like a behavior that I need to absolutely stop it immediately, I will just stop group immediately, tell them to go independent read, and I will go handle the situation. But it doesn't typically get to that point. So yeah, I hope that helps. I hope that answers your question as far as what do I do with like some behaviors when I'm in my small group time. But for the most part, setting those expectations from the get-go helps to get rid of any of those behavior issues that you may see. So today we're going back through and doing some of those things, and I have made a few charts which I would love to show you. So hold on. One of the ones that we've done is independent reading, and we've talked about how it's reading for 40 minutes, your independent book, which is a fun book. Some of them are trying to think that this is like a book that I am assigning them to do or something, and that's not the case. So we went through and talked about that. Then we made our little 3, and I'm noticing that this little line is like really off. It's okay. What does it look like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? Then we also went through this right here, where I'm just going to create like the little chart in just a second. But this is our learner plans, and we went through each one of these and I wrote my expectations for each one. So setting those expectations, also giving them a model of what it would look like and putting those there so that they understand what it is that they are actually supposed to be doing. For writing, we went through the writing process again and talked about some of the brainstormings. And we said that when you brainstorm, first thing you have to do is brainstorm different stories within that big topic. So the topic is feelings, and they had to brainstorm some different ones. So we also came up with some other ones that they could do. Once you have that, you pick your story, and then you actually brainstorm it using one of these different methods that we've done. They were saying this really fast, so I just stopped writing, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna let you guys go at it. So we've done that one as well. we've also done the ELA expectations, just some expectations of how do they sit in the classroom, what is expected when they are in this classroom, and then what should they be doing. So we have added those in there as well. So that's kind of some of the charts that we've done. I will post these out and about. We did go through, and I think I'm going to break this one up into my brainstorm, write, revise, edit, and publish here so that they can move their names. So some of them have moved their names, and then this spot I will just simply write their names on the board for that. But they will be able to move their name as they're going through that writing process there. So yep, that's kind of what I've done. Hopefully that will help with some of the confusion that we've been having. Overall, it's been a pretty good morning, just getting them back into those routines, really talking about what it is that they're supposed to be doing, setting those expectations once again, and then going over any type of misconceptions or just things that I've been noticing in the classroom that I need to go back and fix. So I know it's not a day that we're doing actual instruction, but I feel like this is really important to really make sure that you have a very good foundation, because let's just face it, y'all, they are not about to learn from you if you do not have your routines, your expectations down. And for some reason, my kids just have not had it down lately. So we're gonna go back and fix that, which is what we're doing today. I am gonna talk to you guys a little bit later on this afternoon, once all the kids have left, about my book tasting. I had some questions like on Instagram of my book tasting picture, which I'll put here. I had some questions about this book tasting picture and what it is that I do with my book tastings, what is the purpose of those book tastings, how do I go about like setting it up and doing that. So I'm gonna kind of go over some of those things later on this afternoon, so it'll be exciting. I need to get some stuff cleaned up. Hello everyone. Okay, so it is now the end of the day. It's actually pretty late in the end of the day. Actually, it's 5 o'clock end of the day, so the air conditioners will be turning off momentarily. So I told you guys that I was going to talk to you a little bit about my book that I got, and I did not bring it. Hold on. Okay. So I told you that I was going to talk to you a little bit about my book that my husband had gotten me, that I was really excited about getting. It's a reading strategies book, and this is by Jennifer Saravallo. And what is so amazing about this book is that it's broken down by skills. So they have it broken down. If you're looking at it here in the chapter, you have supporting pre-emergent and emergent readers. Oops, sorry, can't see that, can you? You have teaching, reading, engagements. Then it's broken down into supporting print work, fluency, comprehension with fiction, supporting fiction, comprehension in fiction, and then it goes into nonfiction. So the coolest part, and I guess let me just kind of put one to a sticky note that I've gotten since I'm teaching this one, is that when she does it, she breaks it down by the strategy and then gives you the strategy here, the learner language, the prompts that you could teach, and then she also gives you a sample anchor chart, which is so freaking phenomenal. Like, I cannot be even more excited to get this. Like, look at that. Fluency for fluency partners. How cool is that? So it just teaches you different strategies that you can use within the classroom. Plotline flashback, which is super cool. So yes, it just has a ton. Go deeper, and that goes with the skill. Readers ask themselves questions. I can't read it backwards. Readers ask themselves questions, and then it gives all these great little anchor charts at the bottom. On the sides, it gives the levels right here. So it gives the levels that they're doing, and then it also gives you the genre, and then it gives you the skills right here. So that's also just really great to be able to use and reference. I feel like this is a book that you could actually like use within your classroom and also reference back and forth, which is also like phenomenal. She's coming out with a writing one that I also really want. And I'm very excited about that book. And what's great is that it applies to all levels. So you have everything from A all the way to Z if you're looking at the Fontes and Pinnell leveling system. So it's all for all learners. So even if you teach kindergarten, this would be great. Even if you teach, you know, 6th grade, this would still be a phenomenal book to actually have inside of your classroom. So I'm gonna leave this inside of my Amazon store for you guys to be able to go and find it and check it out. Great book. I strongly urge that if you do not already have one, definitely go and get one. It's gonna change your teaching and make things so much more easier on you too. So great book to check out. So I also told you that I was going to talk to you a little bit about book tastings. So I do book tasting. This is what it looks like. It's a little brochure here, and what it has is on the inside it has different questions. So the first thing that I actually go out and do is I think about what type of books that I actually want my kids to read. Now there was only one book selection that doesn't go along with the genre that I am actually wanting to do this time, but I didn't have another book selection that I could find that I liked, and I had already had a group do this one before, so I figured I'd just let them do it, and it's not that big of a deal. So let me show you the book selections. And I literally just went in and looked at what I had and then looked at what the book room had and then just picked from there. But I tried to keep it within realistic fiction, so I did like Becoming Naomi Leon. I have Bridge to Terabithia, Frindle, Ringer. Somebody had given me this one. I've not actually read it. Pictures of Hollis Woods, Tuck Everlasting, which does not apply because there is a little bit of like magic in this, and then Holes. So these are the book selections that I did, and then what I actually did is I stuck these books and I literally just had them, oops, I dropped a book, and I literally just had them out on tables. So I would put all of the 7 picks at each table. So there would be 7 books, one of each here at this one, one of each there, one of each there. I had some on the stage, and then I had some over here, and then actually at those little tables right there were some as well. Okay, so they sat down with their reading partner, and I told them that this is the time for you to just kind of talk with your partner. Go over the books. You guys can take turns reading it because there are a few things that ask them to go through and read a few pages from it. So they can read some of the pages together. They can talk about the book, but they don't have to have the same opinions as everybody else, as their partner in their writing. So here's kind of the things that they look at. So they have to give me the title of the book, and then they also have to give me the author. They give me the genre of it, and then it says, what are your thoughts about the cover? What stood out, and can you predict what the book is about? So they go through and answer that there. Another one is read the back. What questions do you have? What hooks you into the story or draws you away from the story? So that's the section here. And then the bottom of it says read the first few pages. What has happened in the story so far? So they had kind of, some of them took turns like with pages, and they just did some seesaw reading with their partner, and then they went through and just kind of wrote what happened in the first few pages. And we did talk about pages when it came to this, so I told them, I was like, 3 pages, you need to at least read 3 pages from your text. And then at the very bottom it says, would you read this book, and then rate this book, 1 being the least, 5 being the absolute best. So they went through and completed all of these. I did 2 sheets, so when you open it up like this, you know, there's spot for 2 different books. I did 2 full front to back pages inside of their book, and they had 7 books, so there was only 1 that was actually blank. And they spent pretty much a good like 2 hours doing this activity. Some of them finished like right before the 2-hour mark, and then some of them were still not done, and they had to come back and finish it the next time. Once they kind of sat around, I told them, listen, you cannot move about. You're going to sit in the same spot with your partner. You have all 7 books there, so you guys are going to have to rotate and share those books. And it worked out really fine, and they did a really great job with it. So it's just getting them open to other books that are in the classroom, other books that are kind of out there, and gets them looking at those books, previewing the actual text before they go out and actually pick their books for their book clubs. So they've done that, and then I told them to pick their first pick. This little girl right here has her first pick, and she chose Pictures of Hollis Wood. So that's the book that she would choose first. And so now when they come in tomorrow, because we didn't do that today, we had more of our routines today. When they come in tomorrow, outside of my room, and y'all can't make fun of me, okay, I've been sick. But outside of my room, I have all of their books. So what I did is I just put them pages there with the number of lines for each one. So once it's filled up, it's filled up. You cannot choose that book anymore. So they will literally come in and they will put their name on the book choice that they would like to have for their book club. And once they do that, it won't go any further than that. Tomorrow, I will start to pull each book club one by one, and we'll sit down and we'll start going over their book club packets, which I have to go and make copies of. So their book club packets will look like this. And I'm going to talk to you guys about how I actually set up some of the very first ones, but we're going to go through and do some of the planning pages together, and I'm going to just pull one by one and get them started and going with that. So that is pretty much what book tastings are. I have done some where they're a little bit more fancier. You know, they wear the chef's hat and they do all of that, and you know, have like teas and drinks and things like that out so that you can make it a little bit more fun and interactive. This time around, I was not feeling well. It was not about to happen and I needed to get this done. So we just had we're gonna throw all 48 kids in one room and just do it all at one time, and it worked out perfectly. The kids really enjoy looking at some of the books. They like previewing some of the text, and I like kind of reading what it is that they have to say about some of them. So it's just interesting to see. Ringer, one of them said absolutely not. She said one. She was not going to read that book. And Unhappy Boy draws me away from the text. I love her so much. Anyways, so that is what a book tasting is all about. This comes along with my book club unit. If you are wanting and curious about doing book clubs, this comes with this. So just letting you know that part. But yeah, I am ready to go home. My younger son is officially sick and it's time to go. I've put up all of my anchor charts, so I'm going to show you guys. Did I put up all of my anchor charts? I think I did. Okay, so I put up all my anchor charts. Y'all be so proud of me, because I am not typically one person to put up all my anchor charts. So there is kind of what we do with our learner maps. What are the expectations with some of those? We had the expectations for independent reading. ELA expectations are right over there. And then I have my brainstorm. What does brainstorming look like? So they can choose, once they do from the topic, they can choose the actual story. We've done several different ways of actually brainstorming. Just realized I got to finish that. I have to get going because I'm ready to go home. My little man is sick. And that is all for today, folks. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I feel like maybe it was a little bit scattered. But that's pretty much the gist of book tastings. I hope you guys got a better idea about it. I tried to stick to the same genre whenever we're doing book tastings. Sometimes when you're teaching different genres, book clubs, you may want to have different genres out there. My personal choice is that I just give them one genre to choose from, but I give them several different types of text within that same genre. So then when I'm actually working with those book clubs and I'm kind of meeting with them here and there, I have kind of a better idea of where everyone is, and I don't feel like I'm all over the place. I don't know, works for my brain. I'm not sure about everyone else's, but I chose the same genre, looked for books that were around the 40s to 50s range, because that's where a lot of my learners are. Typically, if they are below a 34, they don't participate in book clubs. We do something separate within our small groups, and I have probably about 8 or 9 kids who are down in that range. So they're just doing something separate from what other kids are doing with book clubs. But everyone else is like, they have to participate within that book club. So yes, I need to take home one of those books. I also was reading 110. Oh my gosh, that book. Hold on. Okay, started reading this book today. Like, as we're modeling independent reading, I'm reading with my students because it's so good to be a role model for your students when it comes to independent reading. I started crying. Like, I'm like on page 30 something, and I started crying during this book. Such a fantastic book. We also did start Fish in a Tree. You guys were all saying how much you love that book. I am already loving that book as well. Some of my kids are making connections to it, which is phenomenal. And yes, very exciting to be actually reading that book aloud to them. I'm enjoying that. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry if it was a little bit random. I felt like it was a little bit random, but I'm not really sure about that. So again, I will leave a link to my book clubs down with this, and these two come together. So definitely go and check them out if you're a little bit curious about those. Leave me any questions that you may have about the book tastings, or if you need me to clarify anything, I would be happy to do that. And I hope you guys are enjoying your week so far. You had a really great Monday and a really great start to your week, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Bye!